Hey everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob Challenge Roth Edition. My name is Bob Babbitt, brought to you by HOKA, Fly Human Fly, SFuels, right fuel, right time, Master Spas, deboer wetsuits, Premium Plus Sports, and of course our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest we have not met before, Mr. Josh Lewis from the UK. How you doing, Josh?
Yeah, not too bad. Settling into Roth, having a look around the expo, it's great.
This is pretty fun. You've been into the sport for a few years. What got you into it?
Well, I was studying and I actually ran out of time. It's a bit of a funny one. But,
what was that?
Well, I was trying to swim a lot whilst I was in London and basically...
Going to school?
Kind of, yeah. University. And
were you swimming on the team or just...
Yeah, no, not
college?
whilst I was in London. I was in a placement year.
Okay.
So it was just a case of the travel was too much to get to the pool every
Right.
single day. So decided to add more things into my schedule and started biking and running.
Oh, so figure, okay, I don't have enough time for just swimming, so I
Yeah.
think I'll add these other things. And,
They were just a bit easier to do straight out the door.
yeah, and were you an age grouper for a while and then decided I'll jump into this pro thing, or did you go right into the pro?
No, so I am from a small island called Guernsey, and we have these... Well, we have the opportunity to go to the Commonwealth Games, but slightly smaller than that, we do this thing called the Island Games.
Okay.
It's a miniature Commonwealth Games with all of the kind of islands in the Commonwealth. And I got hooked into that, basically, and started training for that, got on the team for Guernsey to do that, and then went back to university where I joined the Performance Centre there.
Yes.
And it kind of just spiraled and escalated from there. I got the opportunity to go to the Commonwealth Games and
how'd you
got
do
the
at
bug.
Commonwealth Games?
The first time round, I think I came 21st.
Very cool.
In 2018 in Gold Coast.
So when you start going to Commonwealth Games, are you thinking, okay, well, maybe I should go World Triathlon and focus on the Olympics?
Yeah, so in the preparation for the Commonwealths, I got to do a lot of the short course races. Wasn't that great at them, in all honesty,
Right.
because I was just very inexperienced.
Right.
I was literally in the sport only for a couple of years, or less than a year before I started doing that.
Yeah.
So I really struggled with the intuition that's needed for
Right.
the fast-paced, quick decision stuff.
So what got you into the longer distance? Just sort of organic?
Yeah, sort of. So I was seeing a lot of potential in training,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't able to execute that in racing and short course, just because whilst my physiology was half decent, I wasn't able to make the quick decisions that saved me time and energy in short course.
Okay.
So I was losing a lot of time in transitions, making silly mistakes in bike packs and in the swim as well.
Yep.
And then long course, whilst it's still high skill sets, it's a little bit slower paced. I've got a little bit more time to make decisions. I'm a little bit slow. And yeah, it just suited me in terms of that decision making and also a half decent physiology.
So when I look at 2022, really when you got going?
That was my first long course year, yeah.
Nice. So in World Tri, you had 7 starts and 2 podiums. And those were all in 2022.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
World Tri,
that
yeah.
was that.
Or is-
That was my first half of a year of dabbling into long course.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Oh,
2023 was my first full long course season.
Oh, all right, cool. And when you look at the races you've had so far, which ones are you happy with?
Lahti definitely stands out to me. That was both a bit of a surprise.
Got a 5th.
Yep. That was a surprise, but also I think the people that I train with were like, yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense with how everything played out. But
Right.
obviously completely over the moon with how it did pan out and how I managed to hold on. And then other than that, even Lanzarote, the first one, was a really good result for me straight out of the gates in 2023.
7th.
Yeah.
Now, are you racing pro at this point?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you got 5th at Worlds in Finland.
Yeah.
First time. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's sort of announcing your presence with authority.
Yeah, it's like I said, it was a bit of a surprise, but I think the rest of the season I'd been improving a lot just with racecraft and learning a lot about the sport and how to execute and use what I've got under the hood.
Well, but there's a big difference between going to Challenge London and getting 3rd and going to the World Championship and getting 5th.
Sort of. I think yes and no, because
was the field pretty good?
Sam Laidler was there.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think that I learned a lot within that race that allowed me to do what I did in Lahti as well.
Okay.
So I wished that I tried to stay with him a little bit better on the bike. Even in the water, he was ahead, and I managed to bridge the gap. So that gave me a lot of confidence.
You think? Yeah. One of the best pure swimmers in the sport, and you were able to bridge.
Yeah.
So what's cool about that is when you're bridged to somebody and you're probably racing conservatively, thinking, oh, this is probably where I should be, and you're like, oh, well, I'm feeling okay. I'll bridge up to this guy. That's got to be a little surprise for him.
Yeah, I don't think he noticed, to be honest with you. But
because then he got on the bike
going
and
forward.
Like,
I don't think he minded. It was kind of one of those. He was just getting on with it.
Okay, so but you did Ironman Portugal. I'm sure you weren't happy with the 3:16 marathon.
No, yes and no. Again,
okay. First time, right?
Yeah, first time. I was learning a lot.
That's the beginning or end of 2023?
That was the end of 2023.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was my last race of the season. I'd done a really good prep, so I think that actually what I learned in the kind of lead up to that in terms of what my body was able to tolerate was really good. The actual performance within the race up until the point with which I cramped up in the run was actually very good as well.
Yes.
So there's a lot of learnings from there, which I hope that will come to fruition on the weekend.
So will this be your second full then?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice. And you might as well again jump in the deep end with Magnus and the rest of them. So you should be front pack swim, I'm guessing.
That's the aim.
That's the aim, right?
For sure. I think there's at least one extremely good swimmer, so we'll see if
Who's
he's. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I definitely know that he's an Olympic swimmer.
You figure that Magnus and Patrick, you're going to have a number of people there.
Yeah, I think like Jan Stratman, Daniel Bakkegaard, whether or not Magnus and Patrick are there, probably because that's how it panned out last year.
Right.
But
with Sam was up there with
So we'll see. That's definitely the aim. I'll be aiming to be at the front for as long as possible, basically.
Well, obviously, you weren't intimidated going to a championship event in Finland, and you don't seem like you're shaken very easily.
I think it depends. Well, I'm not the youngest
31 years old
person on the start list, so I think my mindset, because I also came into the sport quite late, it's very much like do the process and the results will take care of itself.
Dive in.
Yeah.
If I do the prep, now who's coaching you?
Luke Watson.
Okay, so you've got someone who really knows their stuff. And when they say you're ready, you know you're ready.
Yeah, I think we've worked together on this long course stuff because he was primarily a short course coach, and we've been finding out together. So he's
learning it together.
Yeah,
we've seen that a lot. Lucy Charles and Reese Barkley.
Yeah.
Those guys learn together.
Yeah.
Because Reese didn't have any background in triathlon. They were swimmers.
Yeah.
And they learned over time how to do it. That's very cool. What's the rest of your season look like?
So the rest of the season, I'm going to probably take a little bit of a break, like a short break, still train and stuff. But
it's a long season. You've got 70.3 Worlds in December.
Exactly. So I think this will be my 6th race this season so far. So I've had a pretty hefty calendar. And then I'll look to back end the season with some good races and hopefully be able to qualify for the World Championships in 2025.
So are you already qualified for 2024?
Taupo? No, I didn't qualify. I didn't chase it at the start of the season because, to be honest, it was going to be too expensive for me. Yes,
it's going there.
Yeah.
So then your season will finish up. And now, is the goal to try to do an Ironman qualifier this year? Yeah. What are you thinking?
I'm not sure.
Lots of options.
I've kind of been focusing on this for the first half of the season, and then I'm going to leave the back half of the season to see kind of where I'm at, how this goes, and what I think I want to do.
I mean, you've definitely had some being in Krakow, being in Valencia, Portugal.
Yeah,
it's a pretty fun sport, traveling the world.
Yeah, I love it. I will do it for as long as I physically can afford to.
Yes. Now, what were you taking in school?
I studied architecture.
Okay, and so that's obviously you can always be an architect.
Possible fallback. I teach it at the moment.
Oh, so you're teaching architecture?
Yeah, teach architecture.
So had you been here to Germany before?
I've been to Germany a few times. Yeah, I've been to Berlin, obviously Kraichgau, and probably a couple of other times.
Yes.
As well.
And when you come to these cities, do you go and check out the architecture?
When I'm not here racing, yes.
Okay.
I feel as though when I'm racing, it's very much
should be
so
focusing.
focus on the task at hand.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, the places you're going, the architecture is pretty damn spectacular.
Yeah. It's really hard to separate yourself from the race until afterwards. I'm always like focused or stressed or whatever. Like
I could see you riding through these little towns going, oh my God, look at that. That's pretty amazing.
you have to get out of aero for that.
No, you can't get out of aero. You can never get out of aero. That is cool. So you're digging this sport so far?
Yeah, it's amazing. I
It
love
really is.
Yeah, so much to find out.
And with the pros, you find that I've always found the pros are just the best, right? Because contrary to World Triathlon, where drafting makes a difference, drafting is part of the game, and I think there's more psychological games played.
Yeah.
Here, the fastest person is going to win.
Yeah, I think so, and the smartest. Like obviously,
Yes.
Like take Magnus last year.
Yes.
He's so switched on, so smart, and like you can tell that he goes into every little detail. I don't think you can be too not switched on, so to speak, to be at the front of these races.
Well, what Magnus does so well, I mean, he was having issues on these racetrack races with the heat.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you saw him at Miami,
Yeah.
where he was like going through the car wash and making sure he stayed cool, and he ran down Alistair Brownlee from behind.
That's
you learn from every race you do. What from the races you've done so far, what have been the biggest learnings?
Hydration and nutrition. I think less so on the nutrition front for me.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need too many carbohydrates,
Okay.
but 100% when it's warm, I suffer from hydration quite
Right.
severely. I'm a very, very high sweat rate.
Have you done some testing?
With precision hydration.
Yes.
So I do some sweat tests and
Makes a difference.
nutrition with them. Yeah.
It's funny, everybody is so different.
Yeah.
Right? You see some athletes and they go for a run and they got a little dot of sweat, and then other people are like
Drenched.
You're the drenched guy.
I'm the drenched guy. Yeah.
That is cool. Josh, a pleasure to get to meet you.
Thank you so
Have
much.
fun out there this Sunday, and we'll definitely be out there cheering for you.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Love it. Josh Lewis has been our guest. Again, Breakfast with Bob Challenge Roth edition. Hold on. We will be right back.